Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. All right. So Tuesday, March 8th, I'm Christina Dillabo, Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference. This is another session of Tuesday Talks. And we've got a light agenda, not a whole lot. I mean, there's a lot going on always, but not a whole lot that I need to bring before you as church communicators. But with David Topping joining us, you just reminded me about, in case anyone, David was kind enough to remind me, or enlighten me, I should say, that when we're communicating about something about the situation in Ukraine, that we shouldn't say the Ukraine, that it should just be Ukraine. So keep that in mind if you're including anything in your church newsletters. There's like a political history there that you don't want to dip your toes into that. Just don't use the word the before Ukraine. Okay, so with that said, I'll dive into the first item, unless there's anything anybody wants to share first. We're good? Okay, so I don't remember if last week I actually did include the attachments of the mission project artwork or not. So I figured it would be a good idea to share with you where to find it. Let's see here. Go here.
While you're looking at that, thank you so much for getting those done so quickly. I really appreciate that.
No problem at all. So here's where you would go. You could either go to the homepage and then click on Annual Conference 2022 on this green button, and then we'll get to the Mission Project box. Or you could just go to dscumc.org/mission-project. That's the direct URL to get to it. The stuff that's here, you can think of this as your page, the communicators part of Annual Conference Mission Project. You're not really going to send your church people to get to this page. This is where you're going to find the stuff you need for your newsletter. So you could click and download the QR code for, easy giving. And here's the different graphics that you could use, any one of them or all of them at different times, excuse me, to help support your needs for your annual publicity for Annual Conference Mission Project. The 2 articles that we have so far are published here. You would click on the titles and that'll open up the article, and then you can copy and paste. If you want to use any of this information as a preliminary, you can do that. The QR code takes you to this Mission Project, or this one here, donate here, giving form, and it's slightly different now. It's still the same link that I had offered before, but now it's specifically only for the Annual Conference Mission Project. So before, I was sending you guys to the regular donate here, and then you'd have to type in the memo what this is for. But now anything that is entered into this form is for the Mission Project. So it's less work for the donor to have to do, and the money will get to the right place. Questions about that? Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, is this, will people be putting their credit card numbers in here? Is
Yes.
this a secure link? Is this
Yes.
It is a secure,
Yep.
or does it go to a third-party page that goes to this page? Oh yeah, it goes right here.
No, yeah, this is a form within the Desert Southwest Conference website, and we do have, you can see here from the S in our URL that this is a secure page, and then we do also include a CAPTCHA in there. Where is it? Well, maybe when you actually, oh yeah, when you are filling it in, then a CAPTCHA thing pops up. I guess
Okay.
like this, you don't see it, but
Okay.
okay. What else? Okay, then. So again, a reminder. So all the graphics, as I come up with stuff or have different things available, they'll be added here. You can either click on the graphic or the title of the graphic, and it'll open up a new page, and then you can right click and do save as image, and that to save it. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, what was the next item? We had, sorry, I gotta stop sharing so I can see. annual conference logo. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen again. First, I should have had it open already. You know what? I have this one open, so I'll show you this. Okay, so right now, it seems really crazy, but think of it this way. These are all the same logo, it's just different color variations of it, different ways to show it. And this is logo number 2, this is number 3, and this is the 4th one. And the 4th one has kind of A and B, because you'll notice here the I is all by itself, and down here the I is part of the tree, but it's all part of the same look. So the theme this year is Thrive, from Languishing to Flourishing, for annual conference. And the bishop's going to have, like, this is one of those where it's about our connection, and how annual conference would be like the main trunk of a tree, and the branches and leaves, and in this case we also have little fruits that are on the tree. Those are all the different ministries and missions and outreach, and I guess topics that we cover. So it could be race, issues on race or sexuality. It could be about hunger, things like that. That's the different things that are happening in the trees. And the interesting, you'll see, like here, for example, the roots sort of connect into other trees. So I'm starting to learn a little bit more about what it is to be a tree and how they all work. And apparently, so trees can sort of give birth to other trees, and they communicate with each other within their root structures. And so I'm sure there's going to be a great message at annual conference about that. But so this is what the and the roots are going to also represent our scriptural roots. So that's what kind of feeds the whole tree and gives us that stability and strength. And so in this case, and with this logo, the word Thrive itself is representing the root system of the tree. In this one's kind of a abstract version of this, and this is also same type of thing. The root systems are all connecting the different trees together, and the idea is these different trees are our different churches, or it could also be outreach ministries, but they're all connected as part of our annual conference. So looking at these, and this might not be the most friendly way to look at the different logos. I've got a PDF where I've got them displayed a little bit nicer together, so it's easier to digest. It looks pretty messy like this. So let me switch over to that. But in the meantime, if you guys have any thoughts about those different logos, or maybe not necessarily, it could be which one's your favorite. It could be, I have questions about this particular one, or what if you changed it to something. There we go. Okay, I'm going to share this other screen so you can see them. Hey, there we go.
Ask a question. This may sound ridiculous, but where are we languishing, or why was that word? I mean, I realize what it's pulled from. How do we think we're languishing?
So, and that came out of because of, it's kind of we're sort of coming out of a COVID situation, but during COVID, as individuals, certainly as church leaders, and just people in our communities, we've all felt a little bit of depression, maybe being overwhelmed, and like we're all alone. And so that's the languishing part, and how to come out of that with renewed zest for staying in ministry and doing things even better, and deepening that connection, where in some cases it might still be that a lot of us are still very quarantined for our own health reasons. So that's where that's coming from.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm going to share my screen again to show you the logos by themselves. So this would be, and I'm not asking you guys to pick. I'm just wondering if anybody has any feedback to share that would help make these logo options a little richer, a little more self-explanatory, because our sessions team is going to be meeting next week, I think it is, or a week after next. Yeah, I think it's a week after next. And they've seen this same set of logos. We'll be talking about them there. And I'm sure they'll have information too, but it would be nice to bring in, here's what others outside of the sessions committee thought.
So these are still a work in progress then in terms of
Yes.
approval?
Yes. Yeah. And again, this last 4 one, it's just showing you different ways that we would potentially display it. So that's it.
How and where is it to be used and displayed?
So we would use it definitely on the annual conference page that our lay members and clergy to annual conference will be visiting to get, to fill out registration, to find documents, to watch the live stream. So it'd be there, but then a lot of times our churches use it as part of maybe their report about annual conference would have the logo in it. The live stream thumbnail will have the logo. It's, things like that. So it'd be on a website, it'd probably be on social media stuff. It might be on print publications, which is why we have like a black and white or grayscale version of the color in case churches need to print something in their bulletin.
So you'd like our feedback now?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
That one you just left? That one? I like that one the most myself because I like how the branches are interconnected. There's not too much detail. So that I think a detail will get washed out with a lot of logos.
Okay.
And one thing I think may make it a little better somehow is if you could move that Thrive, kind of integrate that text somehow a little bit more as opposed to putting it over the image.
Oh, okay. So integrate it a little more like in...
As in like maybe move it towards the bottom of the top, maybe to the top, like in the blue sky image on, for example.
Okay.
You can move that one kind of up to the top, on
Okay.
that text window, something like that.
Okay, thanks.
That's
Sure.
my favorite as well. One of the things though I saw in that made me think of the new logo that came out for United Women in Faith. And somebody was saying that there was nothing on that particular logo to represent people of color, which, it's at any rate, I guess one of the things I'm looking at, I get it that this thriving, the tree is green, like trees come up in green. It would be, my thought, maybe it won't even look right, but my thought was, putting some color into that. You were talking about the various churches or committees or whatever those leaves are going to represent. And they're not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know if you make it in color, then it's going to look like fall.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I don't think there's a perfect answer to that, but I like the idea of the intertwined infrastructural root system that connects with each other and that we all grow together. I agree with Mike. And I think that's certainly my favorite.
So would you say, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, I was going to say, I 100% agree. I love the third one just from an aesthetic standpoint. It's gorgeous. But I think from a conference logo, I really think the second one is a winner. I do agree that the text probably could move somewhere.
Okay.
And I love the idea of maybe there are like fruits and flowers in the other one. So maybe that's a different way to incorporate color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah, that's what I was wondering. Since this one has like the little fruits and flowers in there, that maybe I could add some of those to that number 2. And then what if, I guess the other thing I could do is, like you said, Mike, try Thrive in the sky part. And I could also, like the 4th one, try to make it, incorporated more into the root system.
Or even on the horizon,
Okay.
like from the transition from the green to the
Mhm.
blue.
Yeah.
But the trees
On the
could also be
for-
different too.
On the
The trees
fourth,
could be different colors. Sorry.
I wouldn't adopt any of the text stuff. Yeah, the overlapping text really kind of doesn't
Yeah.
work for me. It's just each other. That just seems like a potential visual problem.
Yeah.
So I would keep the text discrete or separate.
Mhm.
And you could even on as you work with yeah, see, that's really busy.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to do a quick glance and get out of that what you want people to get out because of
Yeah.
so much busyness and the overlapping.
Mhm.
But when you're moving the text around or playing with that in the one that seems to be the most popular, yeah, you could always have some of the text up above and some of it down below, perhaps.
Okay.
You know, it wouldn't destroy the root and the scripture reference.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'll give that a try.
Just some feedback that somebody taught me that that taught graphics design for logos and things. She mentioned that to try to think of it also as what it would look like if you tried to embroider it or something like that. That's why the detail would be hard. If you want to put that logo on a cap or a shirt, that might be kind of hard. So you may even want to create an even simpler rendition, you know, maybe have a little bit dumbed down rendition of it so that you could do that too. But I like that when we're just looking at the most myself.
Okay. So, and I guess the preliminary feedback that I had seen from sessions was the simplicity of this one. And so maybe if I was to, like you said, maybe simplify and yeah, I'll follow what David was saying, what you all said about taking the words out from right here and putting them on top and bottom. Honestly,
Maybe you could use the first font
okay, let me take a look.
because it could be just the more simplistic font, whereas the
Mhm.
second one is pretty with the line through it is a little
Yeah.
bit more.
True. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you all. Okay, now worship. Oh, yes. This is another exciting part. Let me share my screen again. So we have an annual conference worship. No, not an annual conference. Sorry. It is a post-Easter worship service that is coming up that will be available. Let me see if we have it. Yeah, see, this is why we've got to work on our website. I can't see the bottom of the menu system. Stops at scholarships. So just go to dscumc.org/worship. And then there you will find the resources that we will have linked here for on March 28th for the post-Easter worship resources. So like the previous years and previous services, we'll have it in segments, so you can use pieces of it, and we'll also have it all pieced together so you can use the one file and just play it, except for you still will need to add your church's live streaming copyright license in there. So it's not exactly 100% finished, but that's the only thing that you'll have to add. It's just a matter of adding one little image at the end that has your church's specific information, but I'll have like a PowerPoint slide created with like a bracket that says enter your church number here. You know, so it'll all be ready to go, and you just have to enter the church number, the church copyright license number in there, and then yeah, export that as your worship service. Questions about that one? Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, I'm kind of new. Why do we have this? Or is this a resource that you're making available because it's all busy before Easter, and so by the time you get to after Easter, you don't.
The idea is, so Matt Ashley had sent a letter to all clergy maybe a week or two ago, alerting them of it. And basically it's just kind of it's the conference trying to provide resources for the local church to be able to give their pastor a weekend off, after the busyness of Easter, to be able to have a prepackaged worship service that they can play in their sanctuary. If they're meeting in person, they can just play it live, and they can incorporate their own laypersons to maybe read the scripture instead of using the scripture video, so that there is some live in-person components. And for churches that are doing stuff just online, we'll have it all packaged up so they can just do the online, or again, incorporate some of their own people in there, but we'll have the sermon ready. We'll have the order of worship ready. We'll have music ready. So hopefully the pastor will get some time off, and the worship team will get, most of the worship team will get some time off as well. So that's the idea.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Great question. Thank you. So any other comments or questions about that? How about an idea for the graphics? This is the leftover graphic from the previous one, which I don't have the title there anymore, but oh yeah, it was from Light in the Darkness. That's what we used for Light in the Darkness. But now this one's going to be From Doubt to Hope. Whoa, not bad. If anybody has any ideas for that, email them to me. I'll just be looking for something, and once the sermon is ready, I'll see if there's anything I can glean out of that for a good graphic. But yeah, that's where you'll go, dscumc.org/worship, and I'll include all those links in the post-meeting email. Do you guys have any questions about annual conference, other resources that are coming out? No? Okay. And then if you think of something later, don't be shy, send me an email. Thank you all for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you all next week, and have a great rest of your week.